What do you think the limits should be? Because if I made a racist remark against a black person, calling him the N-word, should that be allowed? Is that freedom of speech?
You can do that as long as you like.
Do you believe in freedom of speech?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, I do as well.
Okay. Don't punch me yet. Well, guys, freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Let's go and see what the public have to say about this in detail, and let's see if it contradicts it. Or is freedom of speech really freedom of speech?
Do you believe in freedom of speech?
I do believe in the freedom of speech, and I think as soon as you start placing boundaries on what freedom of speech is, you start denying certain parts of freedom of speech. So as soon as you say you can have freedom of speech, but you can't say that, you're denying freedom of speech by definition.
Okay, fair play. So, am I allowed to be racist under the banner of freedom of speech?
Yeah.
Do you believe freedom of speech should have some limits, or it should just be like however they feel, they can say whatever they like?
The thing about freedom of speech is, it's like it really depends on who you are. Because for me, it stops when you start being harmful to someone.
Okay, so there should be a limit then.
Yes, I think there
So
should.
then you don't believe in freedom of speech and like you just say whatever you like.
I believe in a certain degree of freedom.
For example, if you was to say something against homosexuals, you'll be in trouble.
I totally would.
Okay, then I thought it was freedom of speech.
How would you define freedom of speech, and in what parameters would you have it practiced?
The ability to be able to say what you want whenever you want without feeling oppressed or worried to say what you want.
So do you believe in freedom of speech?
I definitely do.
Okay. Do you believe anyone can say anything they like, or there should be a limit?
I think there should be a limit, as in respects to just respecting a person's beliefs and a person's views. Because I would like to have a freedom of speech, but it's just the way you address it and the way you put it across matters. So that's where my limit is.
Okay, so for you, freedom of speech, yes, but there should be a boundary that you don't cross.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's good, because like obviously a lot of people say freedom of speech is go say whatever you like to anyone. Like for example, go to a person like you, or use the N-word, or come to like a Asian person, use like just call him like a Paki or something like that, a racist, or go to a Jewish person and to say anti-Semitic stuff.
Yeah.
You don't agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that too. I think you should be able to say what your feelings and your opinions, but you still need to keep in mind other people as well.
So freedom of speech with a limit, yeah?
Yes, indeed.
Do you believe in utmost freedom of speech, but basically no terms and no conditions?
Yes.
Does that mean under your definition of freedom of speech I can be racist and have no consequences? Because if you have a contract, you'd have to have clauses, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Do you think freedom of speech should have a clause?
Well, no, then that goes against it being freedom so much. It should be you be able to do what you want and say what you want.
Do you believe in freedom of speech?
Yeah.
Okay, like so you believe there should be freedom of speech without no limits, or there should be limits?
No, yeah, there's obviously got to be limits.
Okay, but then does that
I understand it's not freedom of speech if there is limits.
Yeah. Like for example, can I go to a black person and just say the N-word to him and say, look, that's freedom of speech? I feel
No.
Okay, so then you believe that there should be freedom of speech with limits?
Yeah, but then it's not freedom of speech.
It's okay to parade around being racist and have no legal action against me.
I guess not. So there should be some sort of middle somewhere.
Because the thing is, it's not freedom of speech anymore, is it?
No.
Do you believe in freedom of speech?
Well, in what context?
Freedom of speech, say whatever you like.
Yeah, to an extent. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, what do you mean by to an extent? Do you mean there should be like a little barrier?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Basically, so you're saying that basically I can't go around and go to a black individual and say the N-word, or go to a homosexual and start insulting him, or go to a Jewish person and say ridiculous stuff.
Well, I think there's a line to be drawn. I think, yeah.
Okay, so then it's not freedom of speech then.
Okay.
So according to freedom of speech, can I come to you guys and be racist to you?
Not exactly.
But it's freedom of speech.
Technically, you can.
Under your definition of freedom of speech, can I be racist?
Racist. No, you couldn't.
Okay. I noticed that you had to take a pause. Isn't that a no-brainer though?
Ask.
Yeah.
Your name's
Norway.
Ask.
Yeah.
Where you from?
Norway.
Norway.
Yeah.
Ah, you know what ask means in English.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna ask. Okay, guys, well, I'm here with Ask, and I'm gonna ask him a question. Okay, do you believe in freedom of speech?
Yes.
Okay, so do you believe I can say whatever I like?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I went to
It doesn't induce violence, but apart from that,
okay, hold on a second. Now you've just put a terms and condition on my freedom of speech. So can I go to a black individual and say the N-word?
you'd probably get beat up, and rightfully so.
But why they beat me up though? Because it's freedom of speech.
It's freedom of speech, but they still take offense to it.
Well, I guess freedom of speech is saying whatever you like. Well, we went out to the public and we wanted to see what freedom of speech is defined as. We went to certain individuals and said, look, do you believe in freedom of speech? They said, yes, of course I do. You can say whatever you like, so I can be racist. Not racist. Okay, alright. Went to another individual and said, look, freedom of speech. Can I say whatever I like? Of course you can, mate. What if I said something to a black individual like the N-word? Oh, that you can't. Well, you need to understand, dear guys, when you're saying freedom of speech and you put terms and conditions on limits to it, it doesn't become freedom of speech anymore because it contradicts each other. And what you need to understand is that as much as you have the right to have a freedom of speech, where a lot of people have had contradictions saying, look, there should be this limit, that limit, a lot of people have the freedom to not be insulted.